All right, what's good? What's good? Teresa Gibson just recently made a comment on one of my videos, and she asked, is a Capricorn moon, basically is a Capricorn moon good for, no, a Capricorn sun, excuse me, with a Pisces moon good for a Pisces man? So I'm going to vibe off of this comment right there and speak about the twin flame thing. So to my understanding, like, I'm not well versed in twin flames. I'm not. But from what I'm understanding, and y'all get in the comment section and confirm this or, debate it or whatever the case may be. But from my understanding, that it's pretty much when the sun links up with the opposite moon and vice versa. And I've had these encounters before. I have experience with that. So that's how I'm going to go into this video, by speaking about it as a twin flame. All right, because that's what you're setting up when you ask, it's a Pisces, for a Pisces sun man, what if the woman has a Pisces moon? So what will happen here is, this is what happens with this type of connection. So you could parallel this something like to sirens. I know you've probably heard of sirens before if you're watching this video. So sirens are like the mermaids that, hang out at the water, and so the sailors would come through and they would sing these songs, and they'd be these beautiful ass mermaids, and then all of a sudden, they got their titties out and shit, and then all of a sudden the pirates and the sailors stop everything what the fuck they're doing, and they go to fuck with these mermaid chicks, right? Then the next thing you know, they drown them, they kill them, or whatever the fucking case may be. You know what I'm saying? I've always heard disastrous stories about the sirens. Like, I haven't heard any like, oh, so they took them to this underworld water place, and it just was mad more mermaids, and they had like mermaid tribes and families and shit. Like, I never heard the good stuff. Like, so, but it's interesting to hear the disastrous stories, and I'm gonna tell you why. You always see the sirens at the moonlight, under the moonlight in the water. So make the connection of how the moon pulls at the water and, becomes a distraction in those types of stories. Now, I don't want you to look at your moon as negative. I don't want you to look at the divine feminine and everything that's feminine about you or your people as negative. What I want you to look at is the details and the significance of what's being described in these stories, and then I'm going to explain to you how it's applied to astrology as well. So, like I said, right, the moon pulls at the water the same way that the mermaids pull at the guys who are focused on doing what it is that they do, right? So that's how these twin flame relationships play out as well. All right, so to answer that question, because I already dodged it out the gate, right? But to answer that question about whether a Capricorn moon, Capricorn sun and a Pisces moon is good for a Capricorn man, it can be excellent for a Pisces man. Y'all know what I'm saying, right? A Capricorn sun woman with a Pisces moon, is she good for a Pisces man who is a Pisces sun? So it could be excellent. Why? Because the moon, whoever is the moon in this relationship, right? And this goes for any sign, but whoever is the moon, they're going to give, it's like an 80-20 relationship, the 80-20 rule, you heard that, right? It's like one of those things. The moon is going to give and give and give everything to the Pisces sun. The Pisces moon is going to give everything to the Pisces sun. Sometimes unbeknownst, like you won't even know, like the sun, whoever the sun is, you won't even know why it's happening, or you might be like, damn, she really likes me, like, god damn, like, what the fuck? Like, it's like it's just pouring nurturing to the sun. All right, you can even feel overwhelmed about how much this is done if you were to measure it. So people may call this taking advantage. People can call it a whole lot of different things, but what it really is it just is what it is. And sometimes, like the twin flames, if you hear about these twin flame stories, it does not even necessarily mean that these people are in love. It just means that they have a common thread, a common story that has to be told in this life. Perhaps it was told in lifetimes before this. But depending on how you view time, it might be all, this is how I view time, it's all connected. It's all woven together. Last time, this time, all of that is together to me. But what you'll find out is this, right? It's the words that is spoken. You got to look at the moon as the mind. Okay, and the mind is wild. The moon is wild. The night is wild. The wolves are wild, right? And you've heard a woman is wild, right? All of these things are parallel to each other. So this is why you hear the disaster stories about the pirates and whoever it is that's on their journeys. If they get distracted by these sirens, that the worst happens to them is because they go into the wild, right? So one thing about the moon is the moon, because now when you look at the mind as being wild, it's open, right? So you look at the subconscious mind. Now Pisces is ruled by the subconscious mind. So that means it's thoughts flowing all through your mind. So just think about it like this, right? Because I'm kind of spilling all over the floor right now. Think about it like this, right? Think about times that you have thoughts in your head and they just floating through your head. Now, I don't know, I'm a Pisces, so maybe this doesn't happen to you, I don't know. But if you ever have thoughts that travel through your head and you be like, where the fuck did that come from? Like, why did I just think about that? Like, it would not be some shit that you would even be proud of sometimes. You understand what I'm saying? Those types of thoughts. Now, they could be any type of thoughts, but you could just be sitting there, all of a sudden you see that and you're like, yo, where did that come from? And if you was to define yourself as a characteristic of yourself, if you was to write an essay about yourself, that thought would not be in that fucking essay. And it's not that you're trying to make yourself look all this, that, and the third. Like, you really don't define that as yourself. That's how the mind is. That's how the subconscious mind is. And that's how wild it can be, okay? So the Mercury, so when you look at the planets, you look at the celestial bodies, right? The mind is just the mind, period. It's expansive, it's forever expansive. We all share a collective consciousness. That alone lets you know what I'm getting at. So Mercury is like the processing of the thoughts, right? So just let's go back to that same scenario. The thoughts come to your head, you're like, oh man, that's not me. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't never do that. Why am I thinking that? That's Mercury that says, okay, get that shit out of here. That's wild. Like, I'm not with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, no. Mercury processes that and makes it intelligent. You say that you won't do this, or you say that you will do this because you define this as intelligent. What you don't find as intelligent, you discard it. That's Mercury taking place in your mind to make your mind coherent and making it expressed to people, your thoughts expressed to people in a way that they comprehend and understand as well. So this is what connects people in a Gemini sense, in a Libra sense, and an Aquarius sense, right? Sound mind. You say something, this person understands you, it's coherent, right? Some people may disagree, they may debate it on a Libran type level, but nonetheless, people understand it, and it will either integrate people or it will separate people. But it's understood is the point that I'm making, right? But again, if you go back just to the mind, just to the moon, it's wild, it's all over the place. You gotta collect the thoughts that you want to stay and you want to remain and capitalize off of those, right? So that's why I said whoever has the moon, unbeknownst to them, they may just be talking to the sun, nurturing the sun, giving to the sun, giving to the sun. And it may come out of left field, it may come out of nowhere, right? And again, the sun may be overwhelmed by it, but at the same time, and I'll tell you from my experiences, I'd say I'll tell you like this, right? I have like a balanced experience with the twin flames thing. So in one scenario, all of this information that was given to me from this Pisces moon was so for me, because I'm like, yo, how does this chick know to say this shit to me? You know what I'm saying? Like, she doesn't even know enough about me to be saying the shit that she's saying, and it doesn't necessarily like, she can't define for herself that this shit resonates with me because we've never spoken about this type of shit before. You understand what I'm saying? It's that intuition, it's like that empath shit. You know what I'm saying? But again, that's depending on what moon and sun we're talking about, that can have an impact too. So I'm talking about Pisces moon, so of course, all this information that's coming to me, this shit is like psychic to me. Because again, I'm like, yo, how the fuck does she even know to say all of this shit, right? I'd say about 85 to 90% of that shit is for me. And it may even be 99%, 100%. I just can't confirm that yet because it's still type early. You understand what I'm talking about? Now, there's situations like that to where they go off, I guess you can say like a medium, they was like channeled to say those types of things to the sun. But make this clear. This is right before I get into the other scenario, right? This is two scenarios that I've experienced. Be clear on this though, that when they do this, right, you can think about love in these types of scenarios. Why? Because of course, when someone nurtures you to a degree of a twin flame, and they're telling you all of these things that benefit you, right? And it's like, they're not looking for reciprocation. You may even think to yourself like, well, okay, there's gotta be a catch. Like, what do they want? You know what I'm saying? Again, this is something that is divine. This is something that is a common thread between y'all. Y'all are supposed to be experiencing this stuff. So you may think, okay, but what's the catch? What's the catch? Here's the catch, right? And again, this is why you got to be able to decipher the mind as being wild, and start using your Mercury, and even know when your Venus is starting to intervene in that, because you can detect this to be love. You understand what I'm saying? And it may not be that. So what I mean by love, I mean like the reciprocal type. Oh, that moon did all of that for the sun. Let me repay them back by nurturing them, or to some type of degree like that. But that's not what it's for. That's not what it's for. So you got to be careful with that shit. All right. Not only that, when the mind is doing that, when whoever is the moon, all right, remember this, whoever is the moon, it's done. I'm saying it's like as a marketing ploy, because I'm studying business so much. It's not what I'm saying, but it's kind of like an advertisement. How is it an advertisement? The same way that I was speaking about the sirens, the mermaids, luring the guys in from afar or off their focus, right? That type of interpretation or discussion, or that nurturing to you, is to pull you. It's to lure you to where they are, to what they do, what they're doing. They might want you to be, how should I say it? Something more to them than what they're expressing to you, right? But they don't know how to say it. They don't know how to communicate it. All they know how to do is communicate to you what they're supposed to communicate to you. So again, you got to remember, the same way that I said, if thoughts run through your mind, let's say they are actually being channeled like a medium and the thoughts are running through their mind, you can't even blame them for if you try to reciprocate back to them and be like, or feel a certain way about them, and then they like shun you, or they won't return your phone call, they won't return your text and shit like that. You'd be like, yo, that's fucked up. How could you do that? You can't even do that, because in all actuality, it's like a ploy to lure you. So you have to make this type of decision. Are you going to go after that lure? Are you going to be quick on your feet, drop your focus, and go after that, because you know the nourishment, the nurturing that they gave you was so instrumental to what you need to do, what you should be doing if you haven't done it already, and will be instrumental to your success? Or will you apply what has been nurtured to you, to yourself, and stay on your focus and add that to your focus? Because if you don't, you're in trouble. Whatever it is that they need you to be, the moon I'm talking about, needs the sun to be, you have to be it. You can't come off of your focus, because you're the sun, and the sun is focus and concentration, right? It's not the moon, it's the sun. So when the moon and the sun stand together in astrology, you know, decision-making is paramount. It's like, because the mind is in tune with the soul, the spirit is in tune with the soul, and it's as one, it's male, it's female, it's the whole yin yang is together, right? So you gotta look at it. In a way, that's what your twin flame is. You got a Pisces sun, you got a Pisces moon. So it's the yin and the yang, but these discussions, these interactions are being done because someone is lacking something, and it's more than likely going to be the moon, right? So again, it's when it comes to giving and stuff, 80% the moon is going to give to the sun, but it's the sun's responsibility and duty to harness that focus and add what it is. Now, it may not be for you, and I'm gonna get to that in a second. Add what, in this scenario that I'm talking about, add what it is that is for you, and you'll know, especially as a Pisces, you'll know. So that Capricorn sun, Pisces sun, that Pisces sun is going to know what that Capricorn sun woman is telling him, and I'm like, oh shit, that's for me. He might even say to himself, that's a wifey right there. You know what I'm saying? Like, no matter what, and it might not even be the case, but when he starts applying that, that's how you know it's the right thing, because somewhere down the line, that's who and what that Pisces moon needs that Pisces sun to be. Her life might even depend on it. Her future might depend on it. Whoever the moon is, it might be a guy, right? So I don't want to, mix you guys up, but because this is for everybody, you know what I'm saying? But this is why the moon is giving that to you, because remember, the moon will nurture you and, and take care of you and this and third, but that's just an intuitive, instinctual thing that the moon does. The sun, on the other hand, has to be very conscious of what it is doing, male or female. And it has to be some responsibility that comes with that. And the sun and Saturn are going to have to combine to make sure that that becomes a responsible thing. But I don't want to go too much into the Saturn thing because it might confuse you. All right, but the ego can't get in the way to the point. This is important. The ego can't get in the way to the point where it's like what's that word? Fucking man, but you can't mess up. I can't find a word right now. But you can't mess up what has been given to you by that divine intervention, by letting your ego get in the way. So again, I'll give you an example. If the Pisces man says, "Oh, that's wifey right there," and you address them in the next conversation like that's wifey, and that shit is not reciprocated to you, or it's shunned, or you might be rejected in that regard, you can't let your ego rise up and be like, "Yo, bitch, like, I'm trying to make you mine, girl. What the fuck is you doing? Like, why you treating me like that? The other day you was on the phone with me and you was telling me this and you was sending me this, and the other day you came over, you was rubbing my back and, massaging my neck and shit, and now you don't want to fucking answer your phone. What the fuck?" You can't do that type of shit. You understand what I'm saying? You can't do that type of shit. The shit that the moon gives to the sun, that's 80%, motherfucker. Or you chicks out there too, the guys giving you all of this nurturing, and you be like, "Damn, he's on my dick." Like, not literally, but y'all be saying suck my dick now too, but you understand what I'm saying, right? You be like, "Damn, like homeboy's really on me." Like, he might have your moon, but don't like clown son because he's telling you some shit. Now, let me get to the other side of this, right? Because this is not law. This is not law. Let me explain to you why. There's the other type of moon information that's given to you, and you be like, "Would this bitch shut the fuck up already?" Or, but why? You gotta ask yourself, why do you want this person to shut up? They're telling you all of this stuff, spitting it out to you, and it's because you know all of this stuff already. You know all of this stuff already. And it's bittersweet because you're like, damn, I can tell in the tone of voice, I can tell in the delivery, the approach, I can tell in the persistence, every day hitting me up, every other day hitting me up, telling me this, telling me that, telling me this. But it's just like, damn, everything this person mentions or brings up, I'm well versed in. So you gotta determine, like, it's like, okay, look, you may even have to hurt the person's feelings, or at least address them or respond in a type of way that says, I know this already, right? And it could be just because you're the sun and the moon, you know what I'm saying? You have a lot of the same similarities, characteristics and stuff, common thread, you know what I mean? But in those types of situations, you gotta be like, well, you know what? This might be one of those twin flame situations where it's like, we've maybe done this before. We're just like reuniting and trying to rekindle the same flame that we knew that we had. Like, we're just bumping heads right now. There may be a potential time later on that you two need each other, but it's not at that time. It's not at that time. And you might even see that one person or the other person gets involved with someone else immediately after these things transpire, and it's just overkill, right? It's just redundant and it becomes stupid, and you're just like, okay, I'm not having this conversation again. Like, you say this shit all the fucking time. I know this, I know this, I know this, I know that, I know that, I know that. And it could result in stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But again, it's because it can be unbeknownst. The moon energy is so raw and so instinctual that it's just like, oh, you sure you got your sandwich and everything? Because it's like, I got my fucking sandwich. Like, God damn it. You understand what I'm saying? And you just gotta let that shit go. You know what I'm saying? But you gotta be able to, now as the sun, right? Because I'm saying a lot about the moon. Is there anything that I could say about the suns besides being responsible and not dropping your focus and not letting your ego get involved? is don't take it lightly, because you know this, when the sun is involved, you can be very jovial, you can laugh and joke at a lot of shit, and you can be like, okay, and you might not capitalize over the information that's given to you. You know what I'm saying? So I say it like this: in the one scenario when the moon is telling you all of the things that you already know about already, still capitalize off of that, because that means that you're strong in that area. Okay, that also means that you're going to shine bright in that area, and you will attract, you'll have some type of magnetism there that people look at you as a leader in that area. So whatever it is that you're talking about with that moon, and it's just like, oh, I know this already, I know that already, that's your shit. You understand what I'm saying? Like, that's your shit to be talking about. You're gonna be known for that. All right. Now on the other hand, don't laugh that shit off when that information is be given to you, and you play with it. You know what I'm saying? Or you just be stagnant with it, or you be like, oh, I got time, you know, I got health, I got good health, so, you know, no, that's not why it's being said to you. You know what I'm saying? There's more of a sense of urgency when the type of information that's given to you is said, and you be like, oh shit, that shit is for me. Like, how the fuck she know how she know to say that? Like, don't play with that shit. All right, apply that shit, and you don't have to let her know or him know. Why? Because just think about it. They didn't know the shit that they needed to know about you before, when they said it. That shit just came out of thin fucking air, like literally, right? So it's no like you need to go back and tell them, confirm them, trust me. If they need you, like they know they have the gut instinct that they're gonna need you like that, they'll find you. They'll stalk you, they'll do whatever the fuck they gotta do to see if that shit transpired and grew into fruition, because they really might need you later on in life. So the sun, gotta remember, the sun is the provider regardless. The sun is just the more masculine energy that's going to garner more, all right? And be able to do what the moon doesn't do. That's why they're different. That's why the man is different from them, all right? One more thing I wanna leave you with before we cut this video off is the house that it's in is going to play a major role. The house that the sun is in. I can't 100% tell you about the moon yet, with the house that the moon is in. But I'm studying it, I'm on it. So I want to talk about this later. Somebody bring it up later, we'll talk about it again. Give me by at least 3 months, 6 months maybe. But the house that the sun is in, that shit plays a major role. And as the moon, right? Because I've been on both sides, I've been the moon too. Right, as the moon, you're gonna be giving out. If you're smart enough, and you find out where the sun of your sun, what house that's in, you might even get a little uncomfortable, or maybe bitter, or feel like you're being used. And because you're just like, damn, why am I doing this? Like, okay, you'll figure out by looking at the signs now, right? Astrology, you'd be like, okay, well, I know why I'm doing this now. So we're fucking twin flames. You know what I'm saying? But in the natural scheme of things, like in the 3D world, you're just like, yo, I'm a fucking sucker. Like, I'm a fucking sucker for this person, B. I can't fucking help myself. Now you got the information that you need to pinpoint exactly what it is. And if you find out what house it's in, you're like, damn. And they may be none the wiser. They're doing what they're supposed to be doing as the sun, which is pretty much shining bright, being dominant, and you're just giving them all, and you're just like, yo, this is fucking bananas of me. Now, part of you may want to give up and stop doing that. And this is a challenging area to be in as the moon, because, again, it's instinctual. But the moon is not always going to be the most responsible decision maker because of the fluctuation of the moon and how things gets pulled by the feelings. You understand what I'm saying? So the way that, like I said, if you look at yourself as a sucker one day, you're just like, damn, well, you know what? I'm not giving them shit today. I'm not answering the phone for them. I'm not answering their texts. Be sure that that's coming from discernment that you utilize with Mercury, discernment that you utilize with other planets. And it's just not raw. How do I say it? Turbulence. Right? Because when you become irate about something, it shouldn't be ignored, but there should be something that you identify that marks that, so that it makes sense and that it's intelligent, because you may be right. You maybe say, yo, I'm cutting this shit, or I'm cutting off this lifeline because look at how their ego is playing with this shit. Just like I said on the other side, right? Don't play with the shit that's divinely said to you for you to get your money, your career up, your status, your health, your wealth, whatever it is. Don't play with that shit. Because if a moon sees that and they can identify it and make sense of it, then it justifies that lifeline being cut off, right? So you got to look at how the sun is handling the beautiful shit that you're giving them. It's a very trying spot to be in because I just be like, damn. Okay, intuitively, I discern that the sun is not supposed to go follow the moon. Flat out. That's just the way that I'm feeling. Can the moon go and dance with the sun? Sure. Now, one thing I want to say about that happening, right, is that you'll see that the sun is allowed or will express themselves very vibrantly and more than the moon will. Even if the moon has a way of expressing themselves or whatever the case may be, in that presence together, they'll just find a way to not be so expressive. Perhaps slightly here and there, but not like steal the show type ego sun expression going on, you know? And I think that's probably purposely, like just out of respect of being the moon and them being the sun. It's like, okay, I want you to shine brightly. I want you to be the star. Because in our common chord, you really are. You're the burning star. You're the gaseous star. You know what I'm saying? I'm there as your support system. You get what I'm saying? So I've encountered that before. And again, you know, I'm not going to experiment. I'm not going to toy around with the whole sun going out to the moon. I'm not going to do that. Because intuitively, I sense that that's not what is supposed to be done. You know what I'm saying? From the information that I received from the moon, it just so much is in sync with what I determine is the correct thing to do. So I can't go back on my gut feeling. Like that's a gut wrenching feeling. I'm talking about wrenching for me. I already looked at it like I thought it would be fun, but then I'm just like, you know what? That might not be the type of fun that I'm actually seeking. You know, fun can be experienced in different types of ways, but that's not one of them. So yeah, I'm sticking to that. So just ignore the whole, we're gonna play with the whole moon. No, we're not. You know what I'm saying? I advise you not to do it either. Do what you want to do, but I advise you not to do it either. But you know what would be dope is if you do get in the comment section and explain if you've ever, as the moon, if you ever, as the sun of the twin flame, went to rendezvous, date, romance, interact, live, whatever the case may be, with the moon, and let me know how that went, please. I'd love to observe some of the experiences that y'all have. Maybe I can learn something. I'm definitely going to learn something, but maybe it sheds light on something that I might have missed. All right, y'all, I'm out.